Good day, everybody! This is BA Radiant Dawn, and I'm back with a duo and harmonic tier list. I've never actually done a tier list quite like this before. The last one I did was for Radiant Dawn units for normal mode. I still have to do the hard mode rankings, but yeah. So this tier list is going to be looking at the units' utilities, their duo skills, their weapons, the modes they're good in. If they don't do good in anything, they just fail. How useful their duo effects are, if their duo effects can be activated more than once. Harmonics as well, basically looking at the games they're from, the units that are in those pools, stuff like that. Or at least I'm going to try to remember all that, but we'll see how this goes. But this is going to be a personal tier list. This is how I think. This is going to be what I think of the duos and harmonics. And we're kind of going to go from there. So yeah. First off, we got Duo Hector. Duo Hector, I give him credit for starting the trend of duos. Oh, just a disclaimer. I have at least one copy right now of every single duo or harmonized unit in the game. So I have easy access to all their skills, what all their duo effects do, and all that fun stuff. Most of them I should have memorized, but not all. And we're gonna see just how well I have them memorized in a bit. Yeah. So we're gonna start off with Duo Hector. I might actually get rid of one. Delete row. Yeah. We're gonna go C tier is the lowest that you can get. Yeah, we're gonna do C tier as the lowest. Because none of the duo heroes can actually be bad. There's no unit in Fae can truly be bad. You can build them up to be however broken you want. And yeah, but in terms of duos, Hector, if I wanted to be subjective, I would say B tier. He's absolutely awful in every single game mode. He doesn't really do anything. No one really uses him. His duo skill kinda sucks. For those who don't know, his duo skill inflicts 30 damage, I believe it is, to units within 3 columns centered on him. So it's like a Surtur's thing it's a Surtur on command ability. Which is really good, except for the fact that his weapon is bad, and he's just not that great. So his weapon is effective against armored foes, and if it is an odd-numbered turn, or if foe's HP is less than 100% of start of combat, he gets Spectrum +4. That's his whole entire weapon effect. I think with save skills being a thing, he might be more useful, because his defense is not bad. He has like a base defense of 39, which is pretty solid, I guess. But yeah. Honestly, if I was just to look at the fact that he started the whole duo harmonized trend, because he was the very first one, but he sucks in every other aspect, I put him in B. But in utility, in the modes, in everything, not counting the fact that he started it, he's a C. The artwork's really cool though. Maybe I should do. I think I could probably do another one, but just looking at the artwork of all the duos and harmonics. But like, the artwork is so good. Like, if he was artwork, he'd be like an A at least. The artwork was really, really good for this duo. Because little Alina looks so cute, and he looks so happy to be taking her trick-or-treating, so. But this is utility, this is not artwork, so C tier. Next up is Ephraim. So, Ephraim is an interesting case. He was a duo on a regular banner, and that's never happened since. Like, there was like a Sacred Stones banner, and he got put on just for fun, and it's weird. This is the only instance in Fae that this has ever happened, where it's been a normal new hero banner, but they tossed in a duo just because. And yeah, he's pretty good. His duo skill allows armored and infantry units 1 extra movement. If I remember correctly. Yep. Infantry and armored allies within 2 spaces of unit can move 1 extra space. That's not bad. It's not great because he has to be on the map. But I mean, Duo Ephraim is actually a really solid unit. Because he packs the normal Reagan Leaf. And it's effective against armored and cavalry. If his attack is greater than foes, and or extra movement, like his duo skill, is granted by another skill is active on unit, he makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. So he gets a guaranteed double, and he's effective against armored and cavs, and he grants 1 extra movement to himself and any infantry or... infantry or armored, which is pretty solid. So armored units can move 2 spaces, infantry can move 3 like cavs. He's a really good Gale Forcer. He came with Heavy Blade. I don't remember if he came with Gale Force. I don't know, he didn't. I think he came with Draconic Aura or something. But he's a great Gale Force unit. I actually use him a lot in Ether Raids. In Ether Raids, I have him as a Gale Force. I have him on my Gale Force team, but he's a Wings of Mercy and a Gale Force in one. So like I weaken with 1 unit, I poke, and then he flies in and kills 2 enemies, no problem. I gave him Time's Pulse and Wings of Mercy, Attack Defense Solo. He comes with Heavy Blade 4, I'm pretty sure. He's a really, really solid unit. I'm gonna put him in A tier. Because he can do stuff. He's effective against what he needs to be. He gets a guaranteed follow-up. He might be falling off. I might readjust the tier list later when I'm like, does this unit actually deserve to be in this placement? But overall, he's pretty solid. And yeah, that's all I can really say. He grants an extra movement. He's a Gale Forcer. It's nice. Next up we have Duo Marth. So this is Christmas Marth. And if I remember correctly, it's within 3 rows for his duo skill. He grants bonus doubler to armored allies within 3 rows. Grants attack speed. He grants Spectrum plus 3 and bonus doubler. So basically Spectrum plus 6 to armored and flying allies within 3 rows centered on him, which is pretty solid. He grants a Spectrum plus 6. Basically, a Spectrum plus 6 in combat. It's pretty good. And his weapon, the Tangrisner. If a bonus is granted by a skill like Rally or Hone, and or extra movement is granted by a skill like Armor March or Armored Boots is active, he gets Spectrum plus 3 and special cooldown charge plus 1 per unit's attack during combat. So he basically gets like a bold fighter effect built into his weapon. He gets Spectrum plus 9 if you combine his duo skill with his weapon effect. He's overall pretty good. He hits pretty hard. He's got really good speed for an armor unit, like 44, 45 speed for an armor unit. That's insane. Good defense, okay res. He came with a Daring Fighter, which is really, really cool, honestly. Daring Fighter, and he's the only unit in the game that came with this. If unit initiates combat, neutralizes effects that prevent units follow-up attacks during combat. If his HP is less than 80% and he initiates, unit can make a follow-up attack before a foe can counterattack. So it's a combination of guaranteed follow-up attack, and like he neutralizes effects that prevent his follow-up attacks. So I guess like Wary Fighter and stuff like that, he basically says, no, I will double, and you cannot stop me. And with a Daring Fighter, also he can double hit before the foe can get 1 hit off, which is really, really cool. So he will hit you once, hit you twice with Fire Emblem, and then if you're still alive, you can attack. So he's pretty solid. in terms of... I'm actually kind of sad. I don't think a lot of people pulled for him, which is crazy because he's actually pretty good in my opinion. I don't use him, unfortunately. There's very few armored units that I do use, and we'll get to my main one in a bit. But overall, Marth, I feel like Duo Marth is heavily underrated, personally. He hasn't fallen off. He does what no one else can do in the game. And the Fire Emblem grants Spectrum +4. And he's got Daring Fighter. So honestly, I'm going to put him, for now anyway, I'm going to put him at A. Because he's really good. And I'll also order them. Do I think he's better than Ephraim? Ephraim is more usable in more modes. I feel like Duo Marth might be good in Pawns of Loki. An armored bow that doubles, that grants bonuses to stats, and bonus doubler. Well, he can't grant bonus doubler because you don't have duo hero skills in Pawns of Loki. If you did, that'd be insane. But yeah, I'm actually gonna put him in B for now. He's heavily undervalued, but I'm not sure if I put him in A. I'm going to put him in B, but he's going to be like top of B or bottom of A. Duo Alphonse, he used to be S. But I feel like he kind of fell off as power creep kind of caught up to him. So what Duo Alphonse does is he basically pre-charges specials. Grants special cooldown count -2 to unit and infantry allies within 3 rows and 3 columns. It's a very wide range, and everyone in that range gets -2 cooldown. So he sets himself up for his Open the Future. He has really high defense. Open the Future boosts damage by 50% of the unit's defense and restores a quarter of damage dealt. Special Spiral makes him able to use that every single round of combat. So if you do not kill him on the first hit, he will just heal himself. And then you have to try to kill him again. And it's a repetition. You kind of get stuck in an infinite loop if you don't kill him in the first shot. I'd personally say he's better than Alphonse. Better than Ephraim. I might bump him up to bottom of S, but I'm going to keep him at top of A for now. His weapon. Accelerates special trigger cooldown. Count -1. At start of combat, if special is ready, which it will be, grants attack, speed, defense, res +5 during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. So, you got one shot to kill him, and if you can't do it, GG. But the issue with that is there's a lot of null follow-up, there's a lot of that kind of thing going on right now, so... He'll more than like... Lots of people are running null follow-up on weapons right now because of Fallen Edelgard. So honestly, I think it's best that he stays in top of A. Because he's got great utility. He's great for setting up Gale Force combos. He's great for setting up a whole bunch of really crazy stuff. But he has a weakness to null follow-up. And that's, yeah, lots of people are running that. So if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for Fallen Edelgard being a thing, he'd probably be S. But Fallen Edelgard exists, and he's got the same weaknesses as she does, but she does her job. She does the same job much better in being a tank. Like, he's got a lot of defense and res, but Fallen Edelgard has more. Fallen Edelgard has a bunch more stuff built in. And he's not as good as he used to be. He's a great wall, but there's better walls. Like, 40 defense at +4 with a boon is kind of laughable. It's not great as a unit that's supposed to be a tank. Duo Alm. Now, Duo Alm is a very interesting case because they stacked effects for this guy, right? They stacked a bunch of effects. So, what Duo Alm does is actually really interesting. His duo skill, neutralizes any penalties, restores 30 HP, and grants attack speed +6 to unit and allies within 5 rows and 5 columns. That is a massive freaking range. Everyone gets healed for 30 HP, and any penalties are neutralized. That is insane. So it's like an odd recovery on demand, which is still pretty crazy. He also kind of hits like a truck. With the Scepter of Love, at start of combat, if a bonus, like his duo skill, is active on him, or if his HP is greater than 70%, grants bonus to a unit's attack equals 25% of foe's defense, and inflicts penalty on foe's attack equals 25% of foe's res. So a quarter of their defense gets added to his attack, and a quarter of their res gets subtracted from their attack. And then Lunar Flash. Treats foe's defense res as if reduced by 20% during combat, boosts damage by 20% of unit's speed. So he's kind of a speed god. He came with bonus doubler, and he came with some other stuff too. I don't remember what all he came with though. Let me see. Oh no, I guess he came with everything that I gave him. That he has on him. Okay, cool. But yeah, he's pretty good. He's an axe infantry, which is... There's not very many really solid axe infantry units right now, even still to this day. And this is based off... I'm basing this off against a duo hero that came out over a year ago. So the fact that he has not been power crept very well is pretty impressive. And his duo skill is insane. So, honestly, I'm going to say S tier. I would say bottom of S, because these next, almost everyone after him is just so absurdly godly. But, yeah, it's top A, bottom S. Let's go top of A for now. Duo I done. I don't care what any of you say. S tier. Why? Fallen Idle Guard Killer. Save skills. She's an armor. She's dragon. Ponzaloki. Ether raids. Arena. Because duo heroes score a little bit higher. Need I say more? So, oh, the duo skill as well is insane. So, Duo Idun's duo skill grants defense and res +6 to all allies within an area of effect of her. Yeah, 5 rows and 5 columns. And that's centered on her. And neutralizes effective against dragon bonuses and effective against armor bonuses. So in an armor team, you pop that, it's just like they're in infantry but slower and tankier. Quite literally, Duo Idun is a monster. She's one of the oldest units that could just destroy any version of Edelgard. Fallen, Legendary, Brave, Duo Idun doesn't care. Give her a save skill, and you will see what she can do. She's very hard to kill. Very few units I have found are able to take her out. Especially with that duo skill active, no one can kill her. You lose your effective against armor, the enemy loses their effective against armor, they lose their effective against dragon, and they're trying to destroy a unit with 40 plus defense and res. That is insane. Give her Vengeful Fighter. Make sure she can get an extra hit in, because her speed is kind of lacking. So Vengeful Fighter. Again, near save. My build has her having Ether, Close Defense 4, Vengeful Fighter, Defense Res near save, and then Close Defense 3 Seal. So that is a ton of defense and res. So pop the duo skill. If a bonus is granted by a skill, like the duo skill, is active on unit, or if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, neutralizes unit's penalties, and inflicts attack -6 on foe during combat, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. So you get 1 shot to kill her, and if you don't succeed, you die. Now, they also get attack -6, so they deal even less damage, which puts her, like my current one has these stats. 56 HP, 60 attack, 32 speed, 48 defense, 47 res. So with Zephyr Breath's effect, inflicting attack -6, that's basically an extra 6 to defense and res. So that puts it up to 54, 53. So I'm just going to keep track of defense and then subtract 1. So 54 defense, close defense 4 puts it up to 62. Defense res near save puts it up to 66. And then close defense 3 puts it up to 72 defense and 71 res. Like, holy crap. And that's only at 4 merges. She's +4. Maxed out Dragon Flowers with the bond support. But, like, that's insane. And like I said, with defense res near save, any Edelgard dies instantly. Any red unit dies instantly. Green, dead. Colorless, dead. Blue, mostly dead. If she pops off that duo skill, I don't even think Brave Erica can kill her. Because she negates the effective bonuses. And then Erica has to catch up to a lot of stats. She might be able to do it. Brave Erica might be able to get through Duo Idun. I have never actually tested this myself, but I'd be curious to find out. But yeah, Duo Idun is an absolute god, and being able to basically laugh at Fallen Edelgard is S tier in my opinion. A unit that could tank and destroy a lot of the biggest threats in Fire Emblem Heroes is S tier worthy in my opinion. So yeah, that's what my opinion is on Duo Idun. She is a god and she deserves S tier. If you want to fight, if you want to argue with me on that, perfectly fine. But neutralizing 2 effectiveness, being an absolute tank, one-shotting Edelgards, at worst I'd say top of A, but I know what she can do. I know firsthand. Oh, Ponzaloki. Ponzaloki is Duo Idun's playground. With save skills, with that capitalizing on the defensive stats, with, well, you're almost guaranteed to face off against Fallen Edelgard or Brave Edelgard. She covers such a wide area. You plop her in the middle of the map, there's only 2 spaces she can't reach and protect. But good luck with that. She will heal herself. She will kill every single enemy you pit her against. She's godly. So that's enough about Duo Idun. I've praised her enough. We're done. Trio Pala is really, really cute and really, really unique. You need to have her on a flyer team in order for her to be able to get maximum effectiveness from her duo skill and her weapon. So her duo skill allows her and any adjacent flying allies to move 1 extra space. But this is the first duo skill in the game that can be used more than once per map, which is really unique. But that's all it does. It's just flyers adjacent to her and herself can move 1 extra space. But her weapon is interesting. So if the number of flying units on team is greater than or equal to 3, and unit initiates combat, she inflicts attack defense -4 on foe during combat, and she makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. If the number of flying allies within 2 spaces is greater than or equal to 2, and she initiates combat, she basically becomes a brave weapon. So she goes from striking once to striking 4 times if she's on a pure flying team, or 3 out of 4. It's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. She came with Mirror Impact, which is, it's not bad. The trace skills can help her a lot. But honestly, in terms of duo skill, I put her at like B for just the duo skill alone. Because like Marth does the same thing, but Marth does a lot more. The only thing that she has an advantage of is that you could use this at the start of every odd turn. Yeah, so turns like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. But her weapon puts her up here. Oop, not there. It's too high. Puts her there. Her weapon puts her there. His duo skill is better than hers. His duo skill is better than hers. His duo skill is a lot better than hers. Her weapon is better than his, for the most part. Her weapon's better than his for the most part. The weapon doesn't matter against him. I'm actually going to switch these two around. He's got effectiveness, and he's a Gale Forcer. She could be a Gale Forcer too, though, but you need an all-flying team. That's really tough to do for a Gale Force team. So, I'm going to keep her there. I think it's a fair place. And again, in terms of art, there's Baby Est. That would be S tier easy, but she's a weaker duo, unfortunately. I'm not even gonna bother explaining a whole lot. S tier. Honestly, I don't know. I'm torn. I love Duo Idun, but I love Bride Micaiah too. So Bride Micaiah introduced dominance, and this Bride Micaiah is the only case dominance exists. Basically, the duo skill grants dominance to unit and allies within 3 columns centered on unit. Enemies get defense res -7 if they're within 3 columns centered on unit. Now, allies and her get dominance. Dominance, whoever has dominance deals additional damage equals total penalties on foe for 1 turn. So because enemies are getting defense res -7, basically that's a 14-point swing in anyone's favor who's fighting that unit. So if Micaiah did it against an armored unit, pop that off, that's a lot of damage, and that's a lot of numbers. Duo Micaiah is part of the Fallen Ike Wombo combo, where Fallen Ike can get like plus 50 or more in every single stat pretty much, which is kind of crazy. There's so many crazy shenanigans you can do with Duo Micaiah. She deserves to be an S tier. Her weapon is not bad if I remember correctly. Effective against armored and cavalry just like normal Micaiah's. So if dominance, basically, or any bonus, is active on unit, she gets attack res +6 during combat. And if unit initiates combat, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. So they have 1 shot to kill her. They probably won't do it because they're getting attack -6, and then she gets attack +12, res +6. They get lower defense. She gains that defense as well. It's just not looking good. I gave mine Mystic Boost. Oh no, she came with Mystic Boost. Mystic Boost is pretty good to keep her healed up. Yeah, she's an absolute monster. I don't really need to explain anymore. The first Harmonic. Harmonized Mia, who's actually really good in a cav line. And right now, cav lines and ether raids are all the rage. That alone, the fact that you can put her on a defense team with Sigurd, she can get the extra movement, she can go through Knot, she's 2-range cav with lots of movement. She's kind of a monster. I would say S tier, personally. She's the first Harmonized, but unlike the first Duo, who's on the other end of the list, she still holds up to this day. So, Harmonized units act differently than Duos in terms of skills, like in terms of their Duo or Harmonized skills. Harmonized skills can only affect the units from the same titles as both of the units that are in the unit. So, for Mia's case, it's Radiant Dawn and Awakening. So if you're from Path of Radiance, you get nothing. If you're from Fates, you get nothing. The units have to be from Radiant Dawn and Awakening, which is pretty cool. Now, what makes this unit absolutely busted? Well, the Harmonized skill grants Resonance Blades at the start of every 3rd turn. If the skill was used, it could be used again. Resonance Blade is just attack speed +4 during combat. That's it. It's pretty simple. Nothing too special about it. What is special about this unit, though, is the weapon. Accelerate special trigger cooldown count -1. If unit's HP is greater than 25% at start of combat, unit initiates combat, grants an additional attack speed +5 during combat, and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 75%. If Harmonized Mia is faster than the enemy she's fighting, They cannot kill her. They cannot one-shot her. She can survive Micaiah attacks like there's no tomorrow. That is what makes her S tier. If your enemy, if you have her set up on a cav line and whoever's attacking you, and whoever's attacking you has a tanky unit that could potentially one-shot, she says, no, you can't kill me and I will kill you. That to me is S tier. It's not so much for harmonized units. It's not so much the duos, their harmonized skill that's good. Usually it's the units themselves. Duo Byleth. So, Duo Byleth grants an unconditional desperation to any allies within 2 spaces, and herself. And it refreshes every 3rd turn. Now, the reason why I say unconditional is if a unit initiates combat, they can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. So it is quite literally I will double you before you can hit me once. And there is no condition. Usually for desperation, there's a HP condition. For Duo Byleth, there's not, which is kind of crazy. It's not super crazy, but it's not bad. Being a red flying tome is pretty solid. The weapon at start of combat, if their speed is greater than foe's speed, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat and neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks. So basically anti-wind sweep. And obviously the best choice to give them is wind sweep. And I can't remember if they came with wind sweep or not. But oh yeah, they did. Yeah. Wind sweep is so good. So they can double you. You can't counterattack. Lots of attack stat, lots of HP. I'd say top of A. Maybe bottom of S, but I'll say top of A for now. Harmonized Veronica. Resonant Shields, defense res +4. During combat, and during unit's first combat in player phase or enemy phase, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. And you have to be from heroes or fates. That's not the best. However, the Gate Anchor Axe is what makes this unit really solid. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants defense res +5 to unit, and inflicts defense res -5 on foe during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. So you basically take an extra 10 damage just because they say so, and they are harder to kill. And with sitting at 36 defense and 29 res, it's not looking too good for the enemy there. So the duo skill, the harmonized skill is not bad, but it's not great. And the weapon's not bad. They're tanky and they hit hard, but in order for a unit to be really good, they need to be good in multiple game modes. Duo Idun, Bride Micaiah, Harmonized Mia. For them to be okay, they gotta be good in most modes. Like, they can be used in a wide range of modes, but they don't dominate those modes too good. So, like, all these units are good, but they don't dominate. B tier is, like, undervalued, but still good. The potential's there. But in terms of, like, base kits and whatnot, I suppose they're not the best. The potential's there. And C is just, they're basically unusable. The weapon doesn't do much. They don't do much in any modes. It's just kind of bad. I'd also put Harmonized Veronica down with Marth. And actually keep her below Marth. The weapon is okay. Cav lines are fine, but there's better units that with range, tomes and bows do better. Daggers do better. So in terms of a cav line, I'd rather have Harmonized Mia over Harmonized Veronica any day of the week. Why? Because Mia has 2 range. So literally the only reason you'd want to use Harmonized Veronica, Harmonized Mia just does it better. So, yeah, I'd keep that there. Duo Sigurd is S tier. If you've played Ether Raids, you've probably run across him on a cav line. A 3 movement dancer on a team that can get potentially 4 movement and can dance another unit that killed a unit that killed an enemy unit and kill another enemy unit is just ugh. And on the offensive, you can do the repo swap. That's what his effect is. It's like a double repo. So a unit to the right can go to a unit from... Basically, it's a pivot of sorts. Yeah, it's basically a pivot. It's not really a repo. It's like a pivot. Where it just swaps, like moves them over to the opposite side of you. Top goes down, left goes right, right goes left, bottom goes up. Which is cool, but it's underutilized. But again, what makes Duo Sigurd so good is a cavalry dancer. That's it. That's all you gotta say. Cavalry dancer. Harmonized Tiki. Also S tier. Why? Well, first off, Ponzaloki. She used to do amazing. She was the top choice for Ponzaloki, being a blue flying dragon. The effect, the speed, the stats. She was a nightmare. And then Niffle came along. And Niffle dethroned her as the speedy blue dragon of choice. Fun fact, Niffle actually has more speed than her, even with both of them having a speed boon. So, I had to remedy that by giving my Harmonized Tiki Life and Death. Life and Death kind of balanced it out a little bit, made Tiki faster than Niffle again, so when I fight a Niffle, I throw Tiki at her and say bye. And Tiki strikes first and insta-kills, and it's beautiful. A dragon that's effective against dragons is amazing. Her stats are insane. Her weapons are insane. I didn't even cover Duo Sigurd's weapon, but I really don't need to, honestly. Tiki. So, Harmonized effect. Actually, the Harmonized effect's really good too. I never used the Harmonized effect, but the Harmonized effect's really good. Grants another action to ally with the highest HP that's within 2 spaces, has already acted, and is from the same titles, which is Mystery of the Emblem and Blazing Blade. So if you're from those games, basically any Harmonized unit does really well in resonance battles, and Tiki does the best in terms of like she grants a dance. She's a flying dragon with dragon effectiveness. If a bonus is active on her, which it will be, grants an additional attack speed +6 during combat, and also grants bonus to units attack equals total bonuses on units defense and res times 1.5. So with everyone, that's basically an additional 7 or 8 damage on top of that, plus like Wings of Mercy, plus it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, Harmonized Tiki, really good. Ponzaloki, really good in Ponzaloki, really good in resonance battles, and yeah, that's all I really got to say. Linja, we all know Linja. We all have Linja, or most of us have Linja. Linja's a god. Number 1 Gale Force Wings of Mercy setup unit. Can self-dance. Can attack, kill, self-dance, kill, get danced, kill, get danced, kill, have someone fly in, kill, kill, kill. Do you see where I'm going with this? Linja is a god. Linja's a god. That's all I gotta say. Harmonized Altina is really interesting because you wouldn't think they are a harmonized unit, but they are. Yeah, a lot of people they kind of threw us through a loop for that one. It's kind of like a Leaf and it's kind of like Leaf and our boy Self, you know? Same kind of idea. Harmonized Altina, her duo skill is really unique. What it does is it grants a vantage, an unconditional vantage effect, and attack speed +4 to units within this from the same titles, which is definitely interesting. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting effect. And it can only be used once per map, though, so it's not. It can be used. It cannot be used multiple times, so it's not as broken as it could be. Altina, her weapon is the same as her mythic version, which is kind of poo-poo garbage trash. It's basically a brave weapon. She's got low speed, but she's got great defenses, solid attack stat. Yeah. You could do really cool things with this unit, but it's not the best. Attack res unity is solid. It's a good skill, but that's inheritable, so. Yeah, overall, like, kind of underwhelming. The vantage thing is cool, but that's really all she does. So, even her weapon does less, but like, yeah, I'll go there. I'm not saying she's bad. It's just compared to like Duo Micaiah, are you really gonna tell me that Altina is better? Like, I don't think you could and keep a straight face. Okay, let's take a look-see here. Next up is Duo Peony. Duo Peony is absolutely insane. Green Tome Flying Dancer, and the duo ability is a dance, so she can double dance. She's the first instance of a double dance that we had in Fae. There was a self dance, but there's never been a double dance until the Duo Peony came along. The weapon just grants attack +6 to any ally in cardinal directions of unit during that ally's combat, so it boosts offenses. I gave mine Wings of Mercy so she could fly in and do shenanigans. The duo skill grants Spectrum +3, and the unit can move to a space adjacent to any ally within 2 spaces. Status, to adjacent ally with the highest HP for 1 turn. So they get another action, Spectrum +3, and Ground Order? Basically the ability to teleport around, which is absolutely insane. And yeah, it's really, really good. It can only be used once per map, but that's really all you need. Ether Raid's really good. Arena, really good. Overall, really good. I'd say S tier. Easy, S tier. Yeah, there's not really much else to say. The next unit actually does that job even better. Harmonized Dorothea is a really unique unit as well. They are also a flying dancer, a red tome, but there's a couple key differences. So while Peony's just grants attack +6 to allies within cardinal directions, and then a Spectrum +3 to 1 unit, Harmonized Dorothea kind of, if any foes have the highest stats, for each stat, so one enemy has the highest attack, two enemies have the highest defense, one enemy has the highest res, and the other one has the highest speed, they all get debuffed -6 to their corresponding highest stat total out of all the enemies, which is insane if you think about it. She's debuffing a ton of stats. She's basically going, hey, you have the highest defense, guess what? You have less defense, which is basically attack +6. But this is like from units within the same titles. Oh no, the weapon is just the weapon. It's not even from the same titles. So already, her weapon is better than Duo Peony's. The skill is better than Duo Peony's as well. Well, not necessarily. Duo Peony hers is the ability to dance someone that's adjacent, and they get a bunch of effects. Harmonized Dorothea is within 2 spaces, and from the same titles, and they get defense res +4. And during units' first combat, in player phase or enemy phase, foe cannot make a follow-up attack, which is really, really good. Honestly, I put Dorothea above Duo Peony, but barely. Duo Lift, Cav line. Anyone that can go in a Cav line with legendary Sigurd is absolutely atrocious, and him, Mia, and one other one that we're going to talk about later are perfect for that, because they're all ranged. Anyway, Dual Lift is kind of crazy. Deals damage to foes within 3 spaces equals 10 plus 50% of total damage dealt to HP of allies within 3 spaces. Maximum 40. So you can basically knock an enemy from like 41 health down to 1 health, which is kind of crazy. And inflicts attack speed -7 on foes within 3 spaces of a unit through their next actions. So they get a lot weaker and a lot slower, which is really good for Duo Lift. Duo Lift is deceptively bulky. The Pialfi, if units within 3 spaces of an ally, Spectrum +6. And they make a guaranteed follow-up attack, and reduces the percentage of foes reduced damage by X%, skills by 50%. However, after combat, if unit attack deals 20 damage to nearest ally. So, they eat through damage reduction, they eat through defenses, they get +6 to every single stat, so that's like 36 defense, 34 res, attack defense pushes that even higher, low attack res pushes that even higher, fatal smoke. They were the first instance of Fatal Smoke, and Fatal Smoke changed the game. Fatal Smoke is basically, think attack smoke, but instead your enemies can't heal, which is kind of crazy. Their healers are useless. But yeah, Dual Lift. Even with the HP deduction drawback of his weapon on nearest ally, it doesn't even matter, because he will just kill the enemies for you. He's insane. Again, multiple game modes. He's really good. He's a nightmare to fight. It's just not fun. Yeah, so far, I think I might actually bump Duo Peony down to here. Well, I don't know. I'd still put Dorothea higher, but Peony's still really good. Next up we have Easter Bunny Dragons. Again. So Springmire is really, really interesting as well. Yeah, grants Resonance Blades and the following effect to unit and allies from the same titles. As unit for 1 turn, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. And also, grants the following effect to unit for 1 turn, neutralizes effective against flying bonuses. So they have a proccable IOT shield, Resonance Blade, so attack speed +4 to units within the same game, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack. That's kind of crazy. So the enemy gets 1 shot to do it, and they have to go off of the dragon weakness and not the flying one. That's kind of crazy. The weapon is really insane as well. So if foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP equals 100% at start of combat, grants Spectrum +5 to unit during combat, and reduces damage by 40%. Yeah. So if they're attacked, they get Spectrum +5 and 40% damage reduction. Dragon's Ire, if unit HP is greater than 50%, and foe initiates combat, neutralize effects that prevent units from follow-up attacks, and the unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. So they will double. You cannot double. They will double you. You will deal less damage. They will deal you full damage. It's just not pretty. They're really, really, really nasty to fight against. I would say S tier as well. Oh, really? I actually have to go into a new slotting. Okay, well, it is what it is. Next up, Kiririka. So Kiririka's was really interesting because it was an AoE within like 3 spaces or something. Let me double check. Their skill was really unique. Yeah, grants dodge to unit and allies within 3 spaces, within 3 rows and 3 columns centered on unit. Once used, it can be used at the start of odd number turns. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And dodge is basically the damage reduction portion of close call, of spurn, of all the ones that are like, if unit speed is greater than the foe's, reduces damage during combat, and from area of effect specials, equals percentage, or by percentage equals difference between stats times 4, max 40%. So every unit in range of her gets this ability, and it's proccable multiple times. That's kind of nasty. And the Blade of Renee is insane as well. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants Spectrum +5 to unit. And also, if a bonus or penalty is active on unit, deals damage equals 20% of foe's defense. And also, if unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores HP to unit equals 20% of foe's defense. So if they go up against, like, let's say, an Edelgard, they're dealing a ton of defense, a ton of extra damage, and they're healing a ton of extra HP. And they are doubling. And it's just nasty. It's just nasty. The only thing that can stop them is the null follow-up. Like, they could use null... Oh, they have null follow-up built in. Well, problem solved then. Yep. No follow-up is pretty solid for them. Capitalize on their ability to double, which is nice. I would say top of A. They're great, but they're not great in majority of modes. But they're pretty good. They're greater in the player's hands than the enemies. Like, the computer can't use them correctly. But we can. Like, let me put it this way. Any of the units in the S tier are good in player or computer. You don't want to fight against them if the computer's using them. Well, okay, maybe not Micaiah, but Dominance is so good that she stays there. But all the others, their duo skills, harmonized skills, you still don't want to fight them if you see them on a map. These ones, if you see them on a map, it's like, okay, bow, kill, axe infantry, ooh, range attack, kill. Don't let him charge up his special. Just smack him with magic. Just blow up a wind tome in his direction, he dies. Bows, or just get rid of any other flyers. Just annihilate. Literally just a sword infantry unit that can't do anything. That's not really scary. Any physical one range effectiveness kills, magic, dead. Have a lot of defense, dead. Be almost any unit in the game, dead. Like, the S tiers are the ones that, if you fight them, if you're fighting against them, you actually have to think about what you're going to do. And if you're using them, it's just a free win condition. The S tiers are basically borderline game breaking. Speaking of borderline game breaking, yeah, remember the unit that was so OP that every unit in range that's adjacent to her, including herself, can attack 4 freaking times, or basically double the amount of they normally could? I remember those days. I still don't like them. So, Harmonized Catria grants Resonance Blades Desperation, and if unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. So, the allies from the same titles as well as herself get attack speed +4. If unit initiates combat, they can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. And if unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. So basically, you will double, and you will double before they can move, and you will hit harder with attack speed +4. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. Combine that with the Wedding Bell Axe. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants a unit can move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces and triangle attack to unit and allies within 2 spaces. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat. Triangle attack. If unit initiates combat, 2 or more allies, excluding unit, with triangle attack are within 2 spaces of a unit, unit attacks twice. And everyone gets that. So, quite literally, everyone can frickin' quad attack with her. Everyone gets a brave weapon. And that's OP. You don't want to... You see her, you have to try to kill her turn 1, otherwise you will die. There's no way around that. You have to try to kill her turn 1. You have to go for the throat. But yeah, that's way, way too OP. Hilda. What am I going to say about you, huh? Well, first off, your duo skill was really interesting. So, Hilda is a flying staff unit, which is very, very rare weapon and movement type combination. So the harmonized skill is the duo skill, sorry. Inflicts attack -7 on foes within 3 columns, 3 rows, and inflicts isolation. So isolation, they can't be danced, they can't be rallied, they can't be save skill, they can't be none of that. Literally, on offense, Hilda is just a screw you save skill button. And considering how broken save skills are, screwing them over is S tier. She's terrible in the AI's hands. They can't, because the AI can't proc duo skills, a unit that's good in the AI for a duo unit or harmonized have to be able to have a good weapon that could just carry them. Where they don't necessarily need their duo skill, they have the stats or a weapon that just makes them a pain in the ass. Oh, and also, at the start of every 3rd turn, the duo skill can be used again, so you can inflict multiple isolations, which is busted. The Sunshade Staff grants attack +6 to allies within 2 spaces, grants special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack to allies within 2 spaces during combat. So guard, basically. Grants attack +6 to allies during combat. Special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack to allies within 2 spaces. Okay, so it's not a guard, it's reverse. Yeah. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat. Like, it's a good weapon, but it's the duo skill that sells this unit, and the duo skill is so damn good, it's S tier. Speaking of skills and units that are so damn good, they're S tier. Harmonized Sita is an absolute monster. S tier. Let me explain why. So, grants Resonance Blades to unit and allies from the same titles. Grants another action to ally with the highest HP that's within 2 spaces. Has already acted, and is from the same titles. So, it's an extra dance, extra stats, and to top it all off, the axe is insane. So, the axe gives Canto, and already built-in Canto is probably one of the greatest effects in the game. And this is Canto 2, which is insane. Effective against effective against sword, lance, axe, colorless bow, and armored foes. So even Brave Hector, Brave Hector dies. Just bop, one shot, bop, multiple times. Beautiful. If unit initiates combat, or if unit is within 2 spaces, grants Spectrum +5. So Spectrum +5, pretty much every weapon type in the game, unless you're a colored bow, you're not getting away with anything when a Harmonized Seed is on the map. And 46 speed with the boon, which would make it 51 with the weapon. They're a nightmare, and the fact that they can dance as well, so they could basically, what I've been using them as a Wings of Mercy unit. So what will happen is I send my Elliewood in, bop bop, kill a unit close to half HP, bop bop, kill the next unit then they're at half HP, and then I fly in a dancer, dance Elliewood, bop bop the next unit, fly a dancer in between, Bop bop. Dance to Eliwood again. Bop bop. Kill. Fly in Harmonized Sita into a space that's adjacent to Eliwood. Bop bop. Kill an enemy. Proc Harmonized skill. Harmonized skill dances the dancer. The dancer dances Eliwood or Sita. Bop bop. 1 turn Ether Raids done. Any unit that can make a 1-turn Ether Raids is OP as hell. And they deserve the tops. And they deserve S slot. Next up is Duo Hinoka. Yeah, Duo Hinoka is really, really cool unit. I'm actually really glad they got in the game. Yeah, the reason why Pala's in A, I might actually bump her down to B. Because Hinoka just kind of power creeps. Like hardcore. Attack speed +6 to unit and flying allies within 3 rows or 3 columns, and they can move 1 extra space. And inflicts gravity on bow, dagger, tome, and staff within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit if they are also infantry, armored, or cavalry. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So that's like, that's up here, and that power creeps Pala so bad. I'm actually going to put her down here. Well, these two kind of complement, well, not really complement, but these two kind of work the same. Her weapon's a little bit better. Her skill, her duo skill can be used on a lot more people than Dorothea, so it kind of balances out. Literally, Hinoka just looks at Pala and is like, yeah, I can do literally everything you do, but a lot better. The only thing that Pala has going is the whole, oh, well, I can go, I can reuse mine. But Hinoka's like, I don't have to reuse mine. Enemies can't move, enemies die, enemies can't do squat, so GG. GG, baby. And last but not least, oh, I haven't gotten into the weapon of Hinoka. The weapon is insane. Flying and armored. If unit HP is greater than 25%, grants attack speed +6 to unit, and it's adaptive damage. And if unit initiates combat, unit speed is greater than foe speed, and unit has weapon triangle advantage, unit attacks twice. So against the blue unit, she will quad you, which is insane. So another brave Hector killer, potentially. Just saying. She's crazy. She's crazy. Last but not least is Harmonized Leaf. And I'm actually going to put him up here. And I'm going to... You guys will see why once I start showing off some Ether Raid stuff a little bit more. You won't see it for a while, but wait a couple months. I believe Harmonized Leaf could take the place of Harmonized Mia in Cav lines. That's what I think. Because think about it this way. So Legendary Sigurd flies in, kills an enemy. Everyone gets +1 movement. Leaf comes in, kills an enemy. He gets to dance himself, kill another enemy. Then he gets to canto back, get danced by Sigurd, kill another enemy. That's just 3 kills with 1 enemy. Or 3 kills with 1 unit, basically. That's crazy. That is literally crazy. Now, I'm going to try to order them in their separate tiers. So, from left to right, left being best, right being the worst in the tier. That's going to be a hard thing to do with these guys. Okay, I'm gonna go with the lower ones because that'll be easy. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with this. He's got effectiveness. That seems fair. Basically, it's like, I'm looking at each of the lines, I'm like, if I were to fight them, how much of a pain would they be? Well, flying magic wind sweep is kind of terrifying. If you're bulky, you're screwed. If you're a cav or an armor, you're screwed. Typical sword infantry. Actually, you know what? I go here. Range. No range. That's basically what I'm looking at. For the S tier, this is going to be really, really rough. I want to say I'd put Mia down here because she got power crept by Leaf, in my opinion, in terms of cav line effectiveness. She's still good, but Leaf is just better. Duo I done probably deserves the bottom of this because I'm very biased and I'm fine with admitting that. And Duo I done is good. She's a Fallen Elgard killer, but there's units that do a lot more stuff. Like the effect's still good and all that, but I might. Okay, she hasn't been power crept, so I'm gonna go right here. Tiki kills the fastest unit in the game. In terms of dragons, and that's very nice because Niffle is like an absolute menace. When Niffle basically has a flash smoke kind of thing, where it's like, hey, by the way, if I attack you first, you can't strike back. So have fun with that. Micaiah above Tiki, Linja above pretty much everyone. Cav lines, basically any cav line units are like right in a row. Dancers, yeah, I'd still keep this, but do I like that? Yeah, I'm fine with that. She's more terrifying. They're less they're not that terrifying. Hinoka, Sita above that. I think this is about as good as I could do. I could switch these two around because save skills. That's about it. But she sets down save skills, but she can't damage her, and I've killed her with her. So this is really a toss up here. But yeah, so Linja is probably the best duo in the game. Micaiah is pretty close behind. Harmonized Tiki is an absolute monster. Harmonized Leaf is really, really new. We haven't seen what he's capable of yet. I've seen a lot of people talking about a couple different builds for him. I'm going to try them out sometime, see what they do, see how it works. Cav line, actually, I need to go like that. We know this cav line works. We know this cav line works. We don't know if he'll work, but he should. He could be better than him, but it's untested right now, so we're gonna leave that there. Shanna is Shanna, whoever this is, Katria, is an absolute menace. I do not like fighting her. I do not like fighting him or her. Well, she's not that bad, but kind of annoying. Micaiah's just her duo skill is so broken that she kind of has to be up here. But if you're looking at the fact that she's really only good in the player's hands, well, so is Linja, and so is... Basically, these three would be lower, but their duo skills are so good, their duo or harmonized skills, or what they do is so good that they're up here. That's basically what it is. Both phase, both player, both player, both player, player. Yeah. Well, both, technically. You know what? Save skills can be put on both. So that's going to justify putting her up here. There we go. Now I'm happier with this. Yeah. So, yeah, we got Linja, Micaiah, Tiki, Sigurd, Leaf. I don't know, sorry, Leaf. Katria? Duo I done. Dorothea, Peony, Sita, Mar, Hinoka, Hilda, Mia. Honestly, I could probably move these down here. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because, like, they are top, but they're not usable in both enemy They're not a threat in both AI hands and yours. They're only a threat in yours. Right about here is where I draw the line. So yeah, this is what I like. This'll work. I think this'll work. Yeah, Meyer, Hinoka, Hilda, Mia, Byleth. I feel like Byleth should be at the top of A. Duo skill's not crazy, but usable in both modes. In both enemy and kind of a menace in both enemy and player hands. Same with Mia. Mia but Byleth. There we go. That's the final changes. Mia, Byleth, Hinoka, Meyer, Hilda, Alm, Ephraim, Alphonse, Erika, Marth, Pala, Veronica, Altena, Hector. This is my personal opinion tier list on the duo heroes. Let me know what you guys would do for a tier list. You can use my template. I think it's set up where you could just search for it. Just look up duo and harmonic tier list maker. Yeah. So look that up, make your own tier list. Let me know what you what units you put where. Do you have any qualms? Do you have any complaints about where I place the units? If so, let me know. I'm fine with being told how I'm incorrect on something. Maybe you can provide an argument for Altena being S tier. Like, just let me know down in the comments below. So, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is BRated On signing off. Bye! See you, everybody.